All right. So we'll look at project 1 of 2. It says use the 5 return series. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them right there. Determine which one of the returns are best for a one-time deposit at the beginning of the series, constant equal deposits each month, or constant equal withdrawals each month. And then upload your solution through this website. Here's the deal. You're watching the tutorial right now. So what I'm talking about for the first one is a person says deposit $1,000, say, and at the very end of the series, he'll get a value out of this. He has no deposits along the way, and therefore you're starting with 1,000. You're going through the whole series. A deposit at the end of each month, equal deposit each month, is kind of like a retirement account. So what you're doing there is you're just going in. You're depositing, say, $500 a month or something like that each month all the way through. At the end, you have your retirement. A constant equal withdrawal each month kind of means that what you're doing is you're starting, you have just retired, you've got a big chunk of money. Now you're going to take a slice out each month. And so you're doing the reverse now. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We're going to do the whole thing right here. So let's just start with this one. Okay, I download it. It's sitting right there. Click it. I'll just open it in Excel and give it a few seconds. And there it is. So we'll just leave that right here. We're going to save this as a project here. So what this is this. There's an actual return series in which the month of February, or this month right here, the stock went up 2.09%. However, in March 2005, it went down almost 2%. So in fact, as you go through this, what you're going to find is you're going to go up, you're going to go down, you're going to go up, down. So your stock prices are sitting here doing this, and hopefully they're doing this and not this. One would hope. So all we can do is go through here and see what we've got. Here's what I'll do. I'll just sort of get back to here. I'll just, we're not interested in drawing in it anymore. So let's start with a person that says he's going to, here, I'll insert above here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to color code them based upon what I'm trying to do. So here I'm going to start with $1,000 a month. $1,000 one-time investment. So what we're going to do is, it turns out, if you had that $1,000, you're going to earn a little bit, of interest on that. And so at the end of the first month, you ended up with 20 extra bucks right here. So what happens is you start with 1,000, you earn 2 point some percent, so you got $20 sitting right there. This is great. However, guess what happens the second month? Second month, he actually lost almost, not all of the $20, but he lost a significant portion of it because he went down 1.8% there. And so this formula is fairly simple. If you look at it, it's essentially this. It's 1 plus the return that you earned during that one period times, say, you could call it the P for principal or whatever you want to call it. So the amount, let's say you earned 10%. So that should be 1.1 times, say it had $100, that would be $110, meaning you earned $10, or 10% of $100 is $10. So the equation is fairly simple here. The return series happens to be such that it's not constant. It varies throughout the whole time period here. This is what happens in the market. Happens for good or bad or worse. So if we just go all the way down here, we end up at a final value of $3,686.06. So the question is, what was his return on this? His overall return. And so his overall return, now this is not annualized, it's the total return. And I should put a parentheses there, minus the amount we put in this case was $1,000, and what I should have done, I should have put a parentheses. Now if you divide by the amount you put in, and so the amount you made divided by the amount you put in. Now, here's the other thing. Maybe you do want it annualized. What do I earn every year? I mean, what is the average return I get? Well, first, I need to do an insert, and I need to count my months. Okay, this is the series here, and as I go all the way down, I end up with 181 months. So what I need to do here to make this annualized is take this thing, divide it by, go ahead and divide it by that number. Oops. Okay. Now, but that's a monthly return. So if you look at this here, let's look at it like this. Format the cells. Percentage. So it's a 1.48% per month. But there are 12 months in a year. So you end up making you end up making 17.81% for that period. This is annualized return. So this is I think that's misspelled here. So this is the 17% annualized return. Okay, so that's okay. So this should be, let's see, is all of this lining straight up under this guy? So if I go to the bottom, I guess so. So what I'll do is I will color code this column. I'm just going to format cells. First of all, I go ahead and put currency. I'm going to have to go back and change something. I'm going to put a fill of something like that. Okay, first of all, oh. try this again. Okay. At this point, that's not a currency. That is a percentage. And so we made 17%. I've color coded it so that this yellowish color is the part off of question 1. Now let's do this. Let's say you got a pretty good retirement program and somebody is depositing for you $1,000 every month. So here's what we'll do. We'll just do a copy. I should be able to paste it. So you are having a deposit and we're going to debate whether we're going to count that last one. So here's the question. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's go ahead and format the cells as being currency. So somebody is throwing $1,000 in your retirement account. The question is, do they do it day one? I don't know. It really doesn't matter. So we'll title this deposits. Then we'll say total. So at the end of the first month, do they deposit at day 0? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and say they did, so that this $1,000 was, so in other words, the key, you've got something to debate here. You started to work. Did they immediately deposit $1,000 at the same time this guy did, which was January? I don't know. But I think the way I'm going to approach this is, since I'm comparing apples to apples, I'm going to make sure that all these are done the same way. What happened here is you got deposited. The February return worked on it and gave you that. So before they deposit this value into my account, I should have that same value right there. So let's see. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to basically try to do the same thing. I'm going to take this value. Okay, now this will probably change. So the way I'm going to change it is I'm going to go ahead and take the value on top here, times 1 plus the return. Okay, now I got 0. The reason being is that now, and I probably should run this column as a currency. Make sure I'm still recording. I'm at 13 minutes, still recording. I will do that occasionally. For some reason, I did number instead of currency, okay? So now the question is, let's really look at what happened at this point. Yes, this value does equal that value. However, there's something interesting here, and that is that, let's make sure my voice is coming through. Let's make sure that at the end of this period, we have something new that happened. What happened new? Well, my company put some more money. And so what did they put? They put the extra $1,000 on top of what this guy had. So this guy just deposits $1,000, never deposits again. This one deposits $1,000 at the end of the first month. Then they deposit another $1,000, then another $1,000. Why? Because you're continually working for this company, and they're depositing that for you. So that's why the formula is different here. And so at this point, should be able to just draw it down. Okay, so you can obviously see it's building up faster, but there's a reason for that. One is somebody's investing for you as you go through. You ended up with $453,000 in that last period. The key, though, is let's take a look here because that's not the whole story. So what is the sum total of what was invested? What this person, the company, put in this person's account? Let's take a look. And running out of space. So they put in 182,000. At the end of the whole period, they got 453,000. So now the question is, yeah, I know you shouldn't be correcting me yet. Yeah. Here. Divided by that. So this is not a dollar amount, it's a percentage amount. So it's 249%. However, like the same thing over here, I divided by that the number of periods, which is 181. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Do a copy, escape, go over here, and say we're going to annualize this. So it turns out this person made 16% on his money, whereas this one made 17. We're going to compare this from series to series, and we're going to see something interesting with all this. Okay, I'm going to color code this one. Let's see, format cells, fill. There you go. So I filled it. Now, I'm going to do something interesting here. So now we're going to withdraw from the guy's account. So what we have is three different scenarios. Casual investor, someone that's trying to build a 401k, somebody that's retiring and wants to withdraw from their 401k. And so let's take a look here. How much should he have? Well, I don't know. Let's say he did better than this. Say it was 500,000. So let's say you were at $500,000. Both of these columns should be dollars. Okay. So what do we want to withdraw? Let's start by withdrawing $1,000 a month. Okay. So now the question is, what is this? What goes here? So it's a real fine line as to whether or not you had this whole amount, the $500,000. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. You got $500,000. That interest rate occurred on it, and then you withdrew the $1,000, or you took your 500,000, you withdrew 1,000, and the result of that, which is 490, that interest rate worked on it to give you that account. So I'm going to go with the latter. I'm going to say that my total amount, which I'll have to put two parentheses, and it's going to get mad at me. This amount minus that amount times 1 plus the interest rate that worked on this account, and that's what I end up with. So again, let's take a look at it. I don't know if I can write on top of this. So I took, at the beginning of the period, I took 500,000. I took off that. I ended up with 490, and then that interest rate hit on it, and it gave me my new amount. Might be true. So let's just hit return here. And then here's what happens. I can just copy it, but I need to also copy this. And you just copy and then just paste it. So for that matter, I can just say, tell you what, instead of doing it that way, I'm going to say I'm going to withdraw a constant amount throughout, and that constant amount can be changed. And so what I'll do is that instead of changing it every single time, there you go. And then I can just drag it down, and it should stay 1,000 the whole way through. Okay, now I should be able to just drag this down. Don't know how quick it'll be. So withdrawing at $1,000 a month, you end up making decent money along the way, just like this. But there's a good chance $1,000 may not be enough. So I don't know. So let's take it at $2,000. Now, how do you get returns out of this? This is a good question because you're withdrawing something. And as you withdrew it, something interesting has occurred. So here we're in sort of a gray area, but I'm going to just take us out and put us squarely in some more gray area. And I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to drop it right here. So looks to me like you did a total withdrawal of 455. At this point, you end up here. You started off with $500,000. You ended up with a little bit more than $500,000. Did you ever drop below $500,000? The answer is that probably yes. I just saw 480 right there. There's some 400s. There's some 300s. So you did drop. You climbed, then you dropped. Then you dropped precariously low, about right here. Not too surprising. That's February. The collapse happened around here. Looks like it bottomed out in the February month and started inclining again. So how do you make this comparison? Well, there's not really a percentage there. I don't know what happened here. So that's not what that was earlier. Let's see, did I goof this up? Oh, F. Wait a minute. This should say not F, but it should say I. I do not know. That doesn't make sense either. I don't know what I did here, but let's fix this first. Started with, oh, wait a minute. Why did that happen? Okay, let's fix this. Okay, G183 minus I185. That should be F185. I don't get what happened here. Let's see. Let's fix this again. 183, that's this one, minus that one. This is not a true rate of return, by the way. Divide by F83. I mean 185. Yeah. And A183 divided by 12. So it's not a true return. It's a true return based upon this and this. I don't know what I had there before, so you'd have to look back at the video, but it really doesn't matter. The key is, so this returns 01 gives you 3,600 here, 453 here, and 711 here. I'm sort of apprehensive about actually making a percentage analysis here, so I think I'm not going to. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down here, and I think what happened is when I copied this thing across, it did something to it. Fill, what about a green? Okay, so I got my 3 analysis. I don't think I'm going to put anything right here. The key is this number, this one, and this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this somewhere. Save. Oh, I wanted to save as. Save as. I don't want it as a comma delimited file because I want the equations to be in there. So I'm going to choose an Excel workbook. I don't want it in the downloads. I'm going to put it on the desktop, and I'm going to call Econ. I'm just going to call it Engineering Econ. Hit the Save button. Now I'm going to go look at my desktop, see if it was there. Looks like it's right there. So I'm sitting there, right? So the next thing I want to do is hit this. Go back to the website. And let's do this one. Okay, I'll open this one. Okay, here's your key. We can just grab this. Do a copy. Go to the old sheet. Okay, here's the one returns. Here's my other. Now, first things first, appears to me like what I did was I left a space here. So down 2 and over 1, I'm going to drop this. Down 2, over 1, I'm just going to do paste. Now what I'm going to do is something interesting. Just do a copy and see if I can just copy it straight down there. Oh shoot, I missed it. Shoot. Oh, no, I didn't. 1 was for that. Yeah. 1 was for this. Then I'm going to do this, do a copy. And then did I skip 2 over? No, it was right next to that column. right next to that column, a paste. Now, am I operating off the right values? Yes, I am. And then I can go over here, for that matter, just copy all of that. Copy, and just go right next to it, and it should work itself out. So now, with this spreadsheet, okay, let's make sure I am doing the right thing here. Okay. Okay, looks like that's okay. What about this one? So take the 500,000. So look again. Looks like I'm taking the 500,000, subtracting off the 2,500. Then I'll let the interest rate work on it to get me back to where I need to be. Okay. So now we have the ability to compare the two. Okay, let's compare this one with this one. Okay, we ended up, okay, $3,600. 3686. Okay, now I'm really nervous about this. I don't believe it at all. However, let me go and check. Let me make sure. Make sure that this is correct. Take the period above it, which is D5 in this case. So at random, I'm picking the money I had the account times 1 plus the interest rate, and it puts it right back in there. So looks like it is the right formula. Let's make sure that's the right formula. I take the value above me, let the interest rate work on it, and then add the value at the end. So I think we're okay there. Oops. And check over here. What I'm doing here is I take the value here, I deduct my 2,500, let the interest rate work on it, and then bring it back to where it was. So do all that. Looks to me like for the person whom is just, okay, it makes sense. Got the same investment. I get $299 here. I get $453 here. I get $455 here. I'm sorry. I get 1.9 million and I get 700,000. So here's the key. Okay, both of these, notice this series looks the same. Let's plot. Let's analyze the yellowish here. I think I can do this. Insert all charts. I just want to insert a scatter chart, just like that. That's not exactly what I was interested in doing. Oh, I guess I should have selected it. Oh well. So we'll start here. Do it again. I don't want those. So here's what I see from this chart. Started at 1,000. Ended up, I don't know, roughly 3,600. Let's see. I think does that work? Ooh, that doesn't work. If I could add another series to it, go to the sheet 2. Okay. Huh? Why would that start at 2,000? Maybe I've got the wrong kind of chart in here. I wanted that kind of chart. Let's add. I'm not even sure. I mean, returns 0 now. I need to add. There we go. Believe it or not, what I did here, the difference between these two, you'll see return 0, return 1, 0F. Return 0F is supposed to show you. See, let's just check, make sure. Yep, we're still recording. I took the return series and simply flipped it. Here's what I mean. Okay, around in here is the 2008 collapse. So what I did is I took this part of the return series, moved it to right here in this orange one, and took this one and moved out here. So this collapse you see is exactly the 2008 collapse moved to the end of the series. I wanted you to realize that by looking at the difference between these, and maybe we should rename this to the 0F. I'll go back and rename this right down here. So the key is, what happens if you have a collapse right at the end of the series? Well, what you find out is, in this particular case, by luck, turns out not so much. If you just invest $1,000 at the beginning, you end up with the same at the end. Now, not the same answer. Here, let's change that right now. Zero flip. That's what the F is for. Not so much the same for the other. Okay, here's what I mean by that. Okay, this one will be one investment. Okay, how about $1,000 one time? How about that? That's what we'll call it. $1,000 one time. Kind of get it out of the way. I can look at it later. Now what I want to do is do another plot. I'll start with this of someone who's building up their capital. Okay, if you're building up your capital, okay, all charts. I want the scatter on this one. If you're building up capital, here it say, if you're building up your capital, you got a different kind of plot. Yeah, let's get rid of that. I'll come back and work on it later. I think this one should end up right up under the other one. If the other one's up there. There it is. So this is you building up your capital. Okay, if you're building up your capital, that's the blue. The blue is associated with the blue here. Now, I'm going to try to select data. I'm going to add a series. I don't care about the name or that. All I want to do is focus on this. I want to go to the flipped return series. I'm going to grab this, select all that. And here you go. So here, oh shoot. Okay. Select that. I gotta add it back. I guess. Alright. Okay. And then okay. Alright, so here's what you could say. You're going to work. If you've got a collapse near the end, right near where you're about to start your retirement, you'll feel it right here. So even though these two were very close to each other in one regard, on this one, they were not the same here. And you can see a dramatic influence here. We're talking $450,000 versus like 300, or yeah, about 300. That's a lot of difference there. Now, yeah, you were ahead of this curve for a while, but that was artificial. The thing was, you hit a collapse right close to when you were about to retire. Let's see how this affects things in retirement. In retirement, what does a collapse feel like? Okay, we were putting them here to begin with, so let's put them here again. Okay, this is you deducting your money while you're doing it, while you're in retirement. So you're living off the same amount, and you're watching your maybe that's the scatter chart. Okay. So if I just do this, will it move to the top? Here's what I can do. I can make it very tiny, move it up, and there's the other one. So I put it right up under. It's the beauty of these touch screens now. Get it closer, move it back down. Here you are now. See, this one's not growing because you're living off of it, and you're not injecting any money into this account. So you're taking your money the way it's sat, you're retired, and you're basically living off of the returns plus your Social Security thing. So here's your collapse. If at this time you're thinking, I better go back to work, oh no. And we'll address this with some other plots along the way. Now let's take a look at an interesting scenario here. Let's see, let's do our titles. Building up, and this one was in retirement. I know. You're in retirement. Now, let's add. Yeah, okay, add. Again, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested kind of in this one. I want to see something interesting that occurs here compared to the other one. Okay. Okay, instead of, gotta hit the return. Now, take a look at this. Something totally different occurs here. And there's a good reason why this occurs. Remember, here's the real series. Here's the return series that I flipped. In other words, the collapse happened at the end of the series. It hurts you if you're about to retire and suddenly a collapse occurs right before your retirement. If you're in retirement and near the end of your retirement a collapse occurs, notice what happens. This trailing edge is a significant drop, but this incline that occurred grows your money fairly rapidly because of the return here. And you're sucking money off. If you're sucking money off, you can't keep up, and the actual best scenario here is the one where the collapse occurs later. This makes sense because your money is earning, the money that's sitting in the account is earning while you're deducting along the way. We're going to look at some other accounts now, and let's go ahead. Move this one over here. Let's go ahead and shoot. Might as well. Let's look at this one. Okay, it'll download it, grab it. It opens a new sheet. Yes, I do. Okay, I do need this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the spreadsheet. I don't need this one. Which one do I need? I need this one, but I don't need this one. I don't think this has anything in it. So what I've got is that one with a new sheet in it, and I've got the new data. I'm going to go back to the old data. I'm going to do this. This is interesting. I am going to take the entire sheet, everything. I'm going to do a Control-C for copy. I'm going to just drop it in there, and suddenly you see that. However, all I want to do is suck these numbers out, do a Control C for a copy, and I'm just going to drop them right back here, right? Did I select them at the top? Yes, I selected them on the February. So I will just put them right there and bow. Just like that. The whole spreadsheet is redone. This one was called Returns 1. So there's your Returns 1. Okay, in Returns 1, let's compare. Okay, it still looks like I need to move over a little bit. And maybe a little bit more. Move over a little bit. I don't know why that's not moving over. There we go. Get some interesting values out of this one. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get all of them in here and compare them all on the same plot. You know what? Since we've gone 51 minutes already, I'm going to break this video into 2 parts. So I'll pick it up here shortly.